All right, that looks pretty good. Cool. All right, let's announce some stuff. Let's make sure it's working first and then announce some stuff. Let's make sure it's working first and then announce some stuff. How's that stream quality? All right, that looks pretty good. Okay, quick tweet. And Slack. All right, let's dig in. Get the live chat going here. Let me just refresh this. Oh, I can't. Shoot. That's fine. I'll leave that there and I'll have it open on this other laptop. Of course, I'm not logged in on this other laptop. So I will respond verbally to the chat. Anyway, hello, I'm Luke, and I work on Ellie, and we had a feature request come in. The request is to, it's not even in here, is it? I'm off to a great start. It's not even in there. Well, I'm not going to log in right now. Anyway, we're going to add this section here. So if you take a look at the design here in Sketch, what we're going to do is add a box on the right side of the work area to track writes to Debug.log, and we're going to capture the label and the output here, and let people filter by label. So let's change this. I'll call this filter by label, and clear the logs as well. And this will be collapsible. Actually, I'm going to call this something else. We'll just call this logs. There we go. Looks pretty good. All right, so let's get to it. Put up Adam. I've already started a little bit of this. So right now we are in the layout module. And the layout module is responsible for managing where things are dragged to in here. It's also responsible for tracking the collapse state of these things and for generally giving the proper size and positioning to every major like layout component on the screen. So it gives the header its height and position. It gives the sidebar its height and position and width, and just lays these things out. So we're going to add another section to the layout manager, and we're going to call it the console. Why don't we change that? It's not really a console because you can't type, so we're going to call it the logs. And so here, we never want to be able to totally collapse the output area. Like I don't think that's really a good idea. So what we're going to do instead is let's just have this bit be collapsible and have this always be shown. So instead of a ternary type to manage that collapse state, we're just going to use Boolean. Okay, and we're going to start off having it be collapsed, logs collapsed. We're going to have the split. The first time you open it, it should pop open to 50% of the width. Great. And I don't understand why that happens. I'll actually get an update on this. Nothing. What? That's fine. So we have our model for this. Now we're going to check out the view. Actually, we probably want to deal with the update first. I don't know why it's frustrating. Just confused. Not any of this stuff enabled. You know what? Turn it off. Does it fix it? No, I guess not. Okay. Well, it's not important. I will just rely on this to tell me what's going on. So layout model is wrong. There we go. Okay, so let's add some stuff to this. Let's do a toggle logs collapse. No, you don't need to pass it anything. Model logs collapsed equals not model.logs collapsed. And we'll worry about dragging later. Let's just get something going. Look at this view. Okay. Let's do a logs height CSS. Model.logs collapsed. Then number 2 percentage 1 minus model.logs split. Else nothing. And then we'll do results height CSS model to string. Same thing but inverted. Oh, do a not here. That should not be collapsed. Okay. So now we can tell those things how tall to be. All right, so we got view editors and view. Let's make configure output. Cool. Let's make a wrapper for that little bit. This will do. Let's also rename that to output. Never really figured out what to call that stuff. Just checking various social media platforms to see if anybody is watching. Okay, somebody liked my tweet, so I assume there's somebody here. I didn't do a good job with the YouTube monitoring this morning, so I don't have great insight into what's happening. Okay, so we're tracking the height of both of those things. So now we're going to do view output and logs config. Let's copy what's going on up there. So config message to what? HTML message. Okay, so we want to take this. All right, so we have config.output. We'll wrap that in another div. And do the same thing here. And we'll give it config.logs. But we'll copy the technique over here of saying, okay, for this one, we're going to do a view if, probably. Just grab all of this. Okay. This is where our config dot config.logs will live, and we'll make a separate view for those. Okay, we don't. Oh, we do need height, but not. Yeah, we need height. So for the output, we're going to do style height, and this will be output height CSS on config.model. I probably should give that a class of some kind. We'll worry about that later. Thanks, Corey. Also, the stream should be available in 720, 720p. But you might have to change your YouTube settings. I had to do that when I was checking the stream. Config.mode. Zoom in here so people can see compile errors too. And over here, it's pretty good. Okay. And so we copied and pasted a bunch of stuff. So let's account for that. So the reason we use display.none for the editors is because this is just a div with an ID that we hand off over a port for CodeMirror to deal with in JavaScript. So we don't ever want to remove it from the DOM because CodeMirror might get confused and we don't want to deal with that. In this case though, this is just going to be a bunch of HTML. So we can feel pretty good about doing a view if. So yeah, extra.html.viewIf. It's a function that I wrote that returns text with an empty string in the event that our Boolean evaluates to false. So we only want to view this if the logs are not collapsed. So not oh, I copied the wrong thing. Oh, so we have this div. We don't need this anymore. We're going to give this a class eventually. For now, let's just see it work. We'll call this logs. And we'll come back to those, but get rid of it for now. And the height on this is going to be logs height CSS. All right, that looks pretty good. Oh no, these are no good. So let's do toggle logs collapse for this. And this Boolean is to deal with the open or close icon. So not very expressive code, is it? If I have to check. I wrote it myself. I wrote the viewIf function myself. So I have all these extra modules. And viewIf takes a Boolean followed by some HTML and just checks the Boolean and returns the HTML. Otherwise, it returns HTML.text of an empty string. And what that serves to do, like virtual DOM ignores empty text. Yeah. Oh yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, virtual DOM just like won't even bother to render this, so it's acting like none in the way that like command.none and sub.none behave too, which is kind of cool. And then I have a lazy version for really complicated stuff. I don't know if I use it anywhere, but and then I also have a thing where you can map a view function over a maybe, and then fold that to HTML if it's none, or if it's nothing. Okay. Okay. So we're laying this out. Okay. All right, I'm pretty tired. It's 8:30 where I am right now. Right, so we were looking at what. Okay, so this is whether or not it's collapsed, and that's controlling the. It's controlling the icon here. So if I click that, you can see that the arrows flip over. That's what that boolean does. So in this case, it's just going to be config.model dot logs collapsed. This probably will not look good, but we're going to find out. Config. Cool. Now we have to jump over here to the primary view and actually give it some HTML for that, for those logs. Logs equals HTML.text. No, this is logs. We'll find out what it doesn't like. I never updated that type. Okay, so we also have to ask for some logs in here. Okay, that compiles. And we'll go to the local version. Not see anything. Well, there's a button up here. So we probably have to style things to get them to work properly. So here's our output container. Here's our top div. Here's our bottom div. Things are acting kind of weird. Okay, so let's start making some classes. I'm just going to kind of guess about what the right HTML to do is, or the right CSS to do is. So we have pages, editor, layout, and we'll split this over to the right. New Elm CSS has such a great developer experience. Okay. We'll call this output and logs container. Paste that over there. Save. We'll do output container. Alright, so we want this to be another save. That'll work. We want this to have a height of 100% if it's not being styled directly. We also want it to have a flex shrink of 0. Actually, that's not true. We don't want it to have a flex shrink of 0. We want it to be 1. We want the collapsed thing to retain its height in a flexbox scenario. Speaking of that, we'll display flex this. We'll do flex direction column. That should be fine. And then we'll do this seems like it's good enough for now. Position relative, just for fun. And we'll do a logs container. Good turnout today. Thanks for your questions, folks, and your audio-visual feedback. Okay, what else are we going to do here? Give this a height of 100%. No, we won't. Because we're just gonna leave that alone for now. Just have to give that a position relative, and we'll do logs container collapsed. And so when this is collapsed, let's look at the things we did for the editor. 40 pixels high. Do the same thing over here. Okay. That looks pretty good. This should be flex shrink 0. Okay, so let's add these. So we always want to put logs container on this. And we always want to put output container on this. And then sometimes we want to put logs container collapsed on this. And we want to do that when it's not collapsed. Config.model.logs collapsed. Let's see if that does anything for us. Okay, compiled, so I hope it works. Get out of here. Oh, that's not helpful, is it? Oh no. I haven't used the debugger in a little while, so I can turn it off for now. I'm gonna dip into Webpack here and just turn that off. Should probably be configurable. Probably my responsibility to make it configurable. Since I am ostensibly the debugger person, I just haven't gotten around to starting work on that. What am I doing now? Restarting this. Okay, so there's nothing there. Here's the output and logs container. Ah, it's below. It's below that. Parent doesn't have a height, I think. Oh no, here's our height, and there's our position. Oh, we have to mess around with. That's already set. Flexbox is such a pain. So there's a height of 100%, flex shrink of 1. Oh, this doesn't have a collapsed class. That's interesting. Probably because I did it wrong. Shouldn't have inverted that. Still no good though. So that's like below the fold, if you will. It's outside of the container. CSS, why you gotta do this? This is display flex. These also have to be display flex. Ah, that's weird. Never understood that. Fine, whatever. Clicking that does nothing. Oh, it's behind this. Oh man, it's behind the thing. All right, what to do? What to do? If I can just pointer events that. I can. Okay. Neat. All right, so the split is working properly. See that message there. Oh yeah, it's like I spent, I don't know how many hours last week I spent just trying to get this overflow to work. It's a nightmare. It's very picky about like what elements need to be display flex and what elements have to have overflow hidden. It's a pain. Anyway, this totally works. So what we're gonna do now is add the resizing. And also, let's see if I can get away with this. No, I'm not going to do it that way. If a notification is visible, then you're probably going to it's not unreasonable to expect you to interact with it. Except that this is just HTML, so I can't actually track whether or not to show that, so bummer. I don't love the way that this is going to mix concerns. But what we're going to do is Get away with that. Okay, so I close this. What happened? Oh, I didn't add that display flex where it needed to be added. That's over here. Alright, so I close that, and I should be able to interact with this, but I still can't. Why? Oy. Wait, why does that have padding? Notifications container. Yeah, this shouldn't have padding. Alright, it's going to make notifications look weird for a little bit, but alright, there's our button. Totally works. Let's add the resizing. The first thing we want to do, we already added some stuff to our model. Let's deal with update first. So we'll do logs drag started, logs dragged, now stop position, and logs drag ended, logs grad. Great. What else are we going to do with this? It's going to look a lot like the editor stuff. So do we have something on our model to say that the logs are being dragged? We don't. Logs dragging. Cool. Probably unify that into a nicer type. Just looking at the time, it looks like we're gonna have to do a part 2 on this, so we'll make that a part of part 2. We'll do some cleanup. Okay, so model logs dragging equals true, and then logs dragged region. It's going to look a lot like this. It's going to be log split. We'll take the position. We're going to subtract the header height from the y. And then given that height, we're going to divide it by the total available height of that container. And we're going to limit it from 0.2 to 0.5. So not a lot of space, but we don't want that top part to go less than 50%. Okay, and then when we finish, we say that it's false. Okay, so that compiles. Now let's wire that up to our view. So you'll see, did you move that out to a helper function? Yes, for sure. That sounds like a good idea. would it be cool? Let's make a note to come back to that tomorrow, or not tomorrow, but Tuesday. I don't know when I'm going to do this again, but next time. To do extract vertical dragging stuff to a helper function. So I promise not to continue on this branch until we stream again. Maybe that'll be tomorrow, but people generally aren't watching programming on Saturday, so, and then I have the day off on Monday, so I'm not going to be streaming on Monday either. Probably Tuesday. Ooh, you know what? I'm going out to No Red Ink in San Francisco on Wednesday, so maybe we'll do something fun from the office. That'll be good. That'll be cool. Anyhow, so this is our resize handle. This is the line that you can grab a hold of, move around. So we're going to unify this as well. No, it doesn't. Maybe we'll just unify the class. So that goes in between these two, and only if we are not collapsed. So we don't want to be able to drag while we're collapsed. So view if not config.model.logs collapsed. And we'll call this a vertical resize handle. Oops, I copied when I should have pasted. Okay. And we don't want that to depend on Elm, we want it to depend on output. We don't want that to do an editor drag, we want it to do a logs drag. There's going to have to be some subscription editing that we do to deal with the presence of the iframe, but this should work for now. Clear that, and it doesn't work. Ah, you know why? We have to edit our subscriptions right now. Okie dokie. So these are editor drags. Let's do logs drags. And again, we can, you know what? There's enough stuff going on here that it probably makes sense to make a single type current or type drag target equals editor handle or logs handle or what is it, output handle. I don't know what to call the one between the editors and the two sides. I'm just been calling it output. So drag target. Let's actually do no drag target. I don't like dealing with maybes if I don't have to. Okay. And delete that, and that, and that. And now we have our drag target. No target. Okay. And then our update function. Oh, let's expose that first. So drag target is going to equal and lastly cool. So now we can just do drags. Model.drag target of, and we'll expose that out here. Editor handle. Whoa, what happened there? My control button's busted. That's what happened. Use that all the time. That's going to be annoying. So editors handle, logs handle, do the same thing, but for you know what? Should we take this even further? Nah, it's fine how it is. I'll sleep on that. I was going to think about extending the drag target as part of the message, so I don't have to split these up like this, but I don't know if there's really a lot of benefits to be gained there. Drag target is in model, yes. Drag target. And then we have output handle, which will be these. And then, of course, no target, sub.none. Now I can delete this, and this, and this, and that's probably it. quick opportunity to fix this as well. Model.drag target. This handles dragging when our mouse is over the iframe because the way mouse.position works is it captures events on the top frames document. So when you're in the iframe, you're not capturing those events. So I have some code that I inject into the iframe that captures those and forwards them over the frame messaging API. That's really annoying. My control button doesn't work. Ugh. And then logs handle. That would be the no-op. Let's see how we do with compilation here. We have to update this. Failed. Right. Failed again. Okay, so now we have to update the view. That's fine. Okay, we're getting pretty close here. We'll only go over time a little bit, which is cool. The first meeting's not till 1:30, so that's fine. It's the wrong view. And here, we have some styles on the top level container to change the cursor. Drag. So it's either going to be this one, we just want it to be output handle. And for this one, we want it to be working on your laptop screen. I am working on my laptop screen. I'm looking at my monitor right now. My monitor has the streaming software on it. I'm also like on a couch and a coffee table. I don't have a nice, well, there's a table over there that I could have used, but the couch is really comfortable, so I like sitting on the couch. It does hurt my neck after a while though, so I'm not going to do it again. Maybe if I angle the screen a little bit better. There we go. Exactly. Okay, so we want to we want to see if this is equal to NS sense for north south. And so that's either editor handle or what was the other one? Logs handle. I think that's everything. Nope. Boo. Subscriptions again. I just edited those. Oh. Boo. Do this all over again. Yeah, you know what? I am going to send this type through in the message. What isn't it like about this? Oh, sure. Lovely. Still nothing? Ah. Okay, I got the minimum and maximum mixed up. That's kind of confusing code. So I'll fix that next time, but I just want it to work right now. So I should like invert the naming of this, but this value is deciding like how much space there is on the top, like what percentage of the space does the top control. So it should actually go from, or no, that's backwards. I suppose it. No, that's right. Okay, so it's how much space can the top take up. So we want it to be at least 50% and at most 80%. Sorry about the dogs. Okay, so we open up the logs section. Now it's backwards. Okay, so we open the logs. Now we can't go past 50%, but we can't go more than 20%, and then we can collapse it back down. That's cool. It's annoying that you can't see the line. So I should give this a border, probably. So let's give it a border top, 2px, solid white. That's pretty good. We'll pick one of our actual colors. Okay, border top 3, solid colors dot dark medium gray. It's not dark enough, is it? I don't think I accounted for this properly in the design. No, I didn't put anything there. It's just bad assumptions. All right, that's better. You can at least see it. And we could resize it. Very nice. Okay, so for the next 10 minutes, I'm going to quickly like sketch out what we're going to do to make this work. So we have, I forget where this lives. Is this just in pages? Oops, yes, store. Yeah, here it is. Okay, so this is our code that is it's like, so this code fixes the HTML that you type over here. So you can do terrible things over here. You can like forget the closing tags. You can not include the HTML tag. You can do like part of a div. And well, it'll still work. And the reason for that is we have this code over here that fixes it, and we call that fix HTML. And something else that it does is injects all kind of JavaScript code to make some of these other features work. So this is the stuff that's helping with the dragging even when the iframe is present. And what we want to do over here is add some more code to capture calls to console.log, determine if it's being called with within the within debug.log, and in that case forward it to our application in addition to logging it to the console of the browser. So what we're going to do is our old log equals console.log equals function I have to do that, do I? Our first arg equals arguments 0. So if type of first arg is string, type of second arg is string. Actually, I'm not sure that's right. Let me try something else. Oops. If error.stack.index of try catch this. We're taking advantage of the browser feature, which is I can inspect the stack of any function and pull out function names. So I can check if Debug.log is in the stack of this function call, and post the message to the parent window, and we'll say that the type is log, the message, the label is arguments. Oh, wait a minute, hold on. Let's just take a minute. Pop into here, take a look at this source code. I need a Debug.log. All right, so that has two values, but it's joining them. Okay, so we want to split on. We want to equals 0.split and the colon. That's a semicolon. We want the regular colon. Tag is split of 0. Message, or yeah, message. Let's call it value. Doesn't really matter, does it? We'll split 1 dot, or shoot. How do I get everything in an array except for the first value? It's splice. Open up node. That's splice. Slice 1. Yeah, cool. Join. And we split on colons, so we're going to rejoin on colons. And so label, since that's what I want to call it, I'll call this label 2. Label is going to be label, and value is going to be value. Right, so this is the real like, insider Ellie stuff that you only get from this Elm stream, as opposed to other streams about Elm doing wacky stuff like this. Yeah, we don't care if it fails, we just will ignore it. I don't think this should fail in any of the browsers that we support. Okay, and just to prove that I'm right about this, let's pop into build artifacts. Debug.lmo. There we have it. Let's use the whole thing. And then we also want to call old.log with proper scope and arguments. Okay. I don't know how I'm going to prove this works just yet. Let's pop over to here. This is not where we're going to do this ultimately, but window.add event listener message event.origin. It's for security. Data.type is, what do we call it? Log. Why don't we alert it? Oh, let's do old school. Return a number. Ah, thanks for the catch. Yeah, we want that to be not equal to -1. Thanks, Kofi. Okay, so that compiles for us. Not save, compile. Okay. Right on. We did not see an alert. So let's figure out what's happening. Debugger. Okay, so that's gonna run, and then this is gonna run. Oh no! What? It's not actually including the function name because it's calling A2. Oh, that's a pain. Well, what is this? I feel like digging through that code. I can probably click through. Function.log. Why is it called function.log? Is just like a weird Chrome thing? Well, I'm not sure what to do, but A2 seems like a pretty good call because I think that's the only time that console.log ever gets called in Elm. So we'll use A2. And you know what? We can always change it. You're not beholden to anything in this code, which is the best part about it. We'll get rid of that debugger too. Let's give it another reload just in case. Alright, so would that break if someone partially applies Debug.log? Oh yeah, probably. What a bummer. Let's verify that. Well, it didn't work anyway, so there's more to be figured out here. save that. Cool. So error.stack as A2. We'll come back to the partially applied. Dot index of A2 not equal to, so we should hit this. Oh, did I not give it an origin? Okay. Yeah. All right, so I feel pretty confident that will fix that, but this is no good anymore. So I think what we're gonna do is just like guess, I don't know. Oh man. We'll just guess. We'll say like, all right, if this is being called with one argument, arguments and type of argument 0 string and arguments 0 of colon -1. It's like a pretty good heuristic. It's not as cool as actually looking into the stack of the function call, but what are you gonna do? Okay, shouldn't have a comma. Could you imagine writing a whole code base in JavaScript, but all of the JavaScript is actually a string? You never finish anything. Find that other debugger call. Where is that? Oh, that's in the build manager. All right, cool. So we got our data. Sweet. So that's how we're gonna push stuff in to that's how we're gonna push stuff into the program. So this text here and that text there will make up these contents. So that would say text, and this would say hello world. Back into Chrome. Cool, that does have the quotes around hello world. That's perfect. So one more tweak, and then I'm going to sign off for the day, and we'll see you later. We're going to split on colon space instead. Okay, so data. Perfect. So those quotes are still there, and we have our label and our value. That's pretty neat. Let's try something fancier. So we'll do like nice. That's beautiful. Okay, so next time we are going to do the following things. We are going to move all of this into a separate file inside of this directory, where we will also add a view and an update and a model. So this is going to be called the runner. And it will unify our window messages with some subscriptions in here. Right, so also subscriptions. So my pattern is usually like I have a start function that takes the LMAP and do app.ports.send on. So we do like app.ports.pages editor logs in.send whatever. So that's the runner, and then we'll fill that in. So that'll be sometime later, still between tomorrow and Tuesday or Wednesday. But there's plenty to do, so I'm sure I can come up with other things to work on those days too. Anyway, goodbye.